1, 2, 3, 4. Hello everybody, happy Earth Day. This is Monica Garcia Medina and Bienvenosa. Bringing some chillin' tunes for you all. Shaking it up for Earth Day. Esta es mi tierra, esta es tu tierra, desde las Américas hasta mares de Asia, del arrecife australiano hasta junglas de África. Fue hecha esta tierra para ti, mientras caminaba por montaña y valle, vi los animales que me rodeaban, desde qué lindos y bellos y sus vidas tan cortas. Fue hecha esta tierra para ti. Para el sol brillante, reflejando mi cara, reflejando mis células, reflejando mis átomos, para esa huella del infinito espacio. Fue hecha esta tierra para ti. This land is yours. This land is my land, from California to the New York Islands, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream water. This land was made for you and me, and he, and she, and he, and them.
Happy Earth Day.
I hope you enjoyed Bien and Monica as they sing their beautiful Earth Day song, which was on earthday2020.org on Friday. Good Sunday morning. This morning, my topic is ready to reveal. In this quarantine, we can really take an opportunity to take time for retreat, especially if we are home, of course. And it's a wonderful opportunity to reflect and ask ourselves some questions and to look and see how we've grown and how we yet get to grow. So my name is Frankie Timmers, and I am the Spiritual Director at Center for Spiritual Living Morristown in beautiful historic Morristown, New Jersey. And I am thrilled to be here with you today. And I'd love for you to use the bubbles to let me know whether you're enjoying this or not, and to let us know where you're from. And if you have any questions or future talks you'd like me to do, we're still fine-tuning all the pieces of the technical aspects, especially me. So let us know too if you can relate to what I'm talking about, and let's dive right in. So, this quarantine, huh? My goodness gracious. In Latin, the word is quadraginta, and in Italian, quadranta. And it comes from the number 40. And it was first came into being during the 14th century when there was a lot of illness, of course. And I feel like I've been in hibernation, kind of like in Mother Nature. Have you noticed that some of the birds are coming back, some of the critters are coming back, all the flowers are blooming and blossoming? Every day I try to bring in a branch of something new, whether it's dogwood or lilacs or cherry blossoms, which they're almost done, right? So actually, if you think about it, then in many spiritual and religious traditions, they have this idea of a retreat, a 40-day retreat. The number 40 is incredibly significant, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. So today I want to talk about the idea of 40 and the metaphysical significance of that number. And then I want us to really think about how we're using this time, and are we using it wisely? And there still is time, by the way. And then I want to talk about what can or wants to be made new for each of us individually and, of course, collectively. So, the whole idea of a 40-day retreat or a sabbatical or a 40-day period in our lives is very significant since the beginning of time on this entire planet in many, many religions. And I'm going to just mention a few. In Christianity, Lent was just finished, which was 46 days. And some of us celebrated it in a more metaphysical way. And in the Bible, the word 40 is mentioned 146 times. There's so many significance. I could do a 2-hour talk on that. There is an exact 40-day period between the resurrection of the master teacher Jesus and the ascension. And also, it's considered to be a period of indefinite time. And so in Judaism as well, Moses was in Egypt for 40 years, and then he was in the desert for 40 years before God chose him to lead his people out of slavery. In Islam, the Prophet Muhammad was spending 40 days in Mount Sinai on retreat before he received the 10 Commandments. And as we know, right now, Ramadan is happening, which is 31 days, but it's also a time of retreat and fasting and reflection and renewal. And the number 40, of age 40 in Islam, is very significant. It's an age of fine-tuning and perfection. In Sufism, they talk about 40-day retreats all the time. In Taoism, this is called a dark retreat. In Hinduism, there is the 40-verse, very important prayer called Chalisa, which actually Chalis means 40. And in Buddhism, there are many periods of fasting for 40 days to reach spiritual awakening. And so I love reading the phrase in the Gospel of St. Thomas, which was in the Science of Mind magazine this month, where in the Gospel of St. Thomas it says, if you bring forth what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you. That's a tough one, right? It's a really important one to think about, not to use to be tough on ourselves, but to use as inspiration directly from divine love within. So most of us have been in quarantine for 40 some days. I think for me it's week 6 tomorrow. And so that's 42 days, right? And so these days are really important. And I am so incredibly grateful for the essential workers and those on the front line who have not had the luxury of a retreat, of being home, of taking this time to reflect and to learn and to grow and to do some things that are maybe a little bit different. And so this is really allowing us to reflect more deeply. I'm also very aware as a spiritual responder that many people are suffering deeply, that people are traumatized, they're deeply in grief, they're anxious, they're afraid of the future because there's so much uncertainty. And I am really honored to be a spiritual responder and to be of support because I believe that this is an opportunity to rise up with our spiritual awareness and our spiritual tools. So, what if you see this as a time of retreat? As a time for purification, renewal, reflection on what you're ready to let go of, reflection on what you're ready to embody, just as a time to prepare for what is next. And there's always still time, even if you have been binge watching Netflix or Hulu or Apple TV for the last 40 some days, there is still hope and there is still time for you to kind of get more quiet and introspective. I love retreats. I try to do retreats almost every year, and every 5 years I do a month. And I find that when I first start that retreat, my monkey mind is off the rails. And it takes a while for your mind and your body to become still and to enjoy the stillness. Because after the noise and the antsiness, the truth rises to the surface and becomes more pure, more clear, more tangible, and more real. So I know for sure, even though I don't know exactly who's watching, and I know some of you are going to watch this later as a rebroadcast on YouTube, but I do know one thing for sure. I know for sure that you have changed. I know for sure that you are not the same person you were 40 some days ago. I know this. On Wednesday, we do Spirit Tea Time on Zoom. And last Wednesday, I asked a question, what has changed in you? What has changed for you? And I realized that for me, just about everything has changed. But it also takes reflection, right? To really think about what has changed and how have I changed? And so asking that question is really about taking the time to really reflect. And for me, what really works is journaling. It's a wonderful way for me to kind of go, oh, okay. So the idea is for us to come out of this, to be ready to reveal something new, something different, something more awake, more aware, more conscious, more free. How about that? And so we can take this time as an opportunity to become a better human being. And even those on the front lines and the essential workers can take a moment in their day just to be still and reflect and to hear the deeper voice, the voice of spirit, the voice of the heart. So it's an opportunity to be in service as an individual to the collective, because it's no longer about me, right? It's an opportunity to cultivate a new habit. It has been said many times in many different psychological teachings that it takes about 40 days to create a new habit. I've noticed that it's now a habit for me to put on a mask and gloves. It's now a habit of just being home and moving through the day. It's going to be interesting that some of the habits that maybe we don't really like, that we've embodied kind of automatically, because we are in quarantine, how they stay and how the ones we don't love, how it will be to get rid of them. So it's also a time to really discover that there is a solid spiritual foundation within you, and to really become more aware of it and to reach for it more quickly. It's a beautiful time to release what no longer serves you. Whether it is cleaning out your house, I did my arts and crafts room and I have a bunch to give away, and maybe your closets, but it's also a way to maybe forgive someone or something, maybe to forgive yourself in a particular area. There's still time. There really is still time. There's always still time. We never run out of time. So be gentle with yourself. Be sure to love yourself through this, because it is easy to kind of go, oh, I haven't gotten to my projects. It's okay. Allow yourself the flow of ease and grace as much as possible. I don't know if you've noticed this, but I have. I've noticed that we're slipping into a new consciousness. And those of us who are on a spiritual path have a bigger responsibility. More is asked of us. More is demanded of us. And that is individually again and collectively. So do you want to be a part of birthing something new? Do you want to be the instrument that the universe is using to establish the new consciousness? I love this little thing, and you might be seeing it in mirror, but it hangs on my door. It's by Hafez. It says, I wish I could show you when you are lonely or in darkness, the astonishing light of your own being. You are here to shine that light, because it is a light like no one else shines. It is uniquely yours. So I've been writing quite a bit of poetry lately, and I want to share this poem in closing, and then I'm going to make a few announcements because there's some important things happening at our center via the internet. And then I'm going to close with a healing spiritual mind treatment, our word for affirmative prayer. But this is the poem called Only Love. Deep sorrow for human suffering shows me how forgetful we can be. Underneath this suffering lives something very real. The essence of life, always present, now revealing that only love is real. Only love matters. So when we are lost and know not what to do, we reach deep into our own hearts, finding the essence of life. Drinking from the fountain of infinite love, we serve one another tenderly as we remind each other that at the heart of it all is love, and only love. A love that heals, a love that reveals. So, I have a call to action for you. Check out our website, www.cslmorristown.org. If you take a good look, there's somewhere in there a give button. It should be obvious. We invite you to give via PayPal. It's a wonderful opportunity to support our community, its legacy, and its sustainability. Every Wednesday, we have a special Zoom, and starting this Wednesday, there's something new. We have Ken Harris presenting from his book, Synchronicity. I'll be interviewing him. It's at 7:30 p.m. On Tuesday, we have yoga, Change from Mondays, at 6:30 with Steve Tarsitano. And in May, I am teaching a mindfulness series every Wednesday evening in May. So come and join us for that. Also, Gail Belluardo is teaching a class, Self-Mastery, the Emergence of the True Self, which has been moved from the 27th tomorrow to May 11th. And we love to connect with you on Meetup, Facebook, Twitter. On Facebook, we have a private page and a public page. Instagram. And let us know if you have any needs, any questions, any comments via the website. I would now like to close with a spiritual mind treatment, a healing treatment, and I'll see some of you at our annual membership meeting at 11:30. So right here, right now, I celebrate a new me. And when I say me, my, I speak from and to the divinity within each and every one of us. I discover a new me. I discover a seed, a blossom, a bloom, a birth, a new awareness that I am ever evolving, ever changing, ever growing. It is the only thing that's constant. And because I choose to be aware and I choose to be conscious and I choose to know myself deeply, I come upon my essential nature, which is that which breathes my breath and beats my heart and supports me in my evolution. I trust and know that this is pure givingness, pure love, pure light, pure grace. And so I know how blessed I am to be who I am, to have what I have, and to be an instrument in this conscious evolution that is taking place now on the planet. All of us are in the same boat. The entire globe is experiencing a huge shift in consciousness. So the only thing that is asked of me is to be love in action. And I know that can take many different forms, that can show up in many different ways, because all of us, 8 billion people on the planet, have a unique gift to share. And so today I partake of the infinite well of truth, and I allow it to reveal to me my highest and best. I share it effortlessly and easily, and I welcome all the blessings that come from this. I also gracefully let go of whatever no longer serves me, whatever is in the way, and I let universal law take care of it in the best way it knows how, trusting and surrendering then that all is well, all is well, all is well. And so it is. Much love. Have a beautiful Sunday. See you next week.